Welcome. Today I'll be running you through a 30-minute class which will be a focus on lengthening and decompressing, perfect for a lunchtime class. Okay, so finding yourself a comfortable seat, you can sit like this or in a cross-legged position, you choose. Just make sure it's comfortable and your knees aren't, feeling any discomfort or pain. And then once you've found your seat, just begin to close your eyes for a few moments so we can establish a sense of stillness and grounding, and bring in a focus on your breath. So establishing the breath before we begin to move. Okay, so take a few deep breaths to begin with, inhaling through the nose. Exhale through the mouth very gently. And with every exhale, just finding more length in the spine, rolling your shoulders back and away from your ears, maybe even closing your eyes, and drawing your awareness inwards. For a few more minutes. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. With every exhalation, just softening more and more into the body. And slowly beginning to open your eyes and finding your way onto your hands and knees, coming into a tabletop and stacking your hips directly over the knees, your hands in line with your shoulders and your wrists, like stacking underneath the shoulders, and taking a few rounds of cat and cow. So arching the back as you send the chest forwards, lengthening the neck, and then exhaling, rounding the spine, kind of pushing the floor away with your hands and your feet, and rounding, but even lifting up through the lumbar spine. And then, reaching down with the tailbone, and then inhaling, lifting the tailbone and integrating every segment of the spine from tailbone to the nape of the neck. And then exhaling, rounding, 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 spreading the fingers and the biceps gently spinning forwards. And again, inhaling. We'll take 3 more rounds and then exhale, rounding, rounding, rounding. Just being sure that you're not dropping your head back into the shoulders. So you want to create length and broaden across the collarbone as you arch. And then round, kind of even visualizing the space being created in the vertebrae and lengthening. Take 1 more round, inhaling and exhaling, rounding. Then coming back to tabletop pause. If your toes aren't tucked, tuck them under, sitting back towards your heels, and we begin to shift into a downward facing dog. And then from here you can do what feels nice, maybe even walking out your down dog, pedaling through the heels, maybe take a side stretch, just moving like you are creating space, and move with the breath as well, beginning to inhale and exhale through the nose. And then maybe you may want to come into stillness. Here you want to create length in the spine. If you're feeling quite tight, you may want to micro bend the knees, send the hips high, and lengthen the neck, keeping the head in line with the arms. And then from here, we're going to walk towards the back of the mat. So with your hands, just walking back. And once you're there, holding onto the elbows and kind of ragdoll. Let the head fall heavy, holding onto the elbows, maybe shifting or swaying. Just kind of really hanging out here and spreading the toes, root down into the earth with your feet, and then letting go of the arms. And through bent knees, rolling bone by bone, coming all the way to standing, and kind of root down into the earth as you begin to straighten your legs. Then heel-toeing your feet closer together, rolling your shoulders back and away from your ears, reaching your arms to the sky. And then lifting up from the belly, tailbone down, arms in line with the ears, lift, reaching through your fingers, and side bend on your exhale to your left. Breathe, finding stretching the right side of the body, keeping your hips, your shoulders in line. And inhale, coming back to the center, reach tall, exhale all the way to the right. Inhale to the center, and then exhale, release, arms down by your side. Inhale, begin to reach your arms up. We're coming into mountain pose and reaching through your fingers. Exhale, bend your knees, forward fold, interlace your fingers around your back and stretch your arms over the head. Find length along the spine, and then exhale, going a little bit deeper, maybe bending one knee, then the other. And then release. Bring your fingertips to the ground. And so finding your way back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, beginning to shift into a plank pose. Finding a straight line so that your hips are in line with the shoulders and biceps are spinning forwards. And begin to draw the navel up and back, send the crown of the head forwards, and then lower down to your knees. Bend the elbows, send the chest forwards, chest chin to the ground. We come into Bhujangasana, and then lifting as you exhale. Inhale, lift through your cobra. Send the chest forwards, shoulders back and down, pressing into the toes, and exhale, release. Come onto your knees, tuck your toes, sit to the heels, downward facing dog. Bring your feet together. We'll begin to come into more of a flow now, sending your right leg back and up to the sky. Level the pelvis so you're not twisting. The pelvis is facing down. Flex the foot, crown of the head is down. And then as you exhale, you're going to draw the knee in towards your chest. Create space by lifting so that when you draw the foot forwards, you have space. And then from here, you lower down to your left knee. Inhale, reach your arms up. And rather than sink down into the pelvis, lift up. Draw the chest up and lengthen the spine back without dropping the head. Yeah? So you want to keep your head in line with the arms, so the neck is in line with the spine. And then exhale, coming back, hands to heart center. And then release your fingertips to the ground. Tuck your back toes under, if that's okay for you. Otherwise, you can spin the back heel on the ground. Okay, and from here, maybe draw one arm forwards. Maybe you draw the left arm back, and here you're finding length and really reaching forwards with your right fingers and your left fingers back. And then maybe swapping back, swapping around, and then draw the left arm forwards, right arm back. Then join your right arm in front and begin to lift into a high lunge. And then from here, draw the back heel down and come into Warrior Two. And reaching out through your fingers, spinning the back knee towards your back toe and drawing your right thigh down towards the ground. Then inhale from here, draw the right arm to the sky, and then go into a reverse warrior. And you want to find length in the side body as you reach back. So you don't want to, kind of compress down here, rather reaching and pressing into the outer edge of your back foot. And then coming back, Warrior Two. Straighten the front leg, inhale, and reach forwards, 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 preparing for triangle. So you can place the hand to the shin, ankle, or if you're a little bit more open, you can go a little bit lower to your big toe. And then from here, maybe you want to use your left hand to draw the right ribs through, and then sending the left arm up. And then the crown of the head is reaching to the front, and you're pressing it into the back foot as well as the front foot. And if it's not okay for your head, for your neck to look up, you can look ahead of you. Okay, so drawing the front ribs towards the back ribs, tailbone towards your back heel. You want to stay for about 3 or 5 breaths. Then inhale, looking down to your foot, soften the knee and rise up. Exhale, bend the front knee, cartwheel the hands to the ground, and step back to a plank pose. Feel free to lower to the knees if that's better. Shift the chest forwards and lower down chaturanga. And then from here, all the way to the ground. Send your arms back, lift your legs, lift your arms, shoulders, broadening across the collarbones, spreading your toes, and reach through the toes, crown of the head, long neck. Exhale, release. Hands underneath the shoulders. You can come into a cobra from here if you wish, or tuck toes, downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths here. Again, feel free to bend the knees, create length in the spine, wrap the armpits in. Then bring your feet together. Inhale, draw the left leg back and up to the sky. Level the pelvis so you're not twisting. And then exhale, draw the knee in towards the chest, find length and find lifting through the hips so you can create space to bring your foot down onto the ground in between your hands. And then lower down to your right knee. Again, inhale, sending the arms up, lengthening, coming away from the pelvis, arch. And then exhale, hands to heart center. And then release your fingertips to the ground to prepare. Tuck the back toes under. And coming into your low lunge. And then reaching forwards with the left arm. Maybe you draw back with the right arm. And you sink lower again. Your back leg is powering up. And then maybe swap around if that's okay. Otherwise, you can stay where you are. Then join the left arm, inhale, rise. And you come into warrior 2. Inhale, send the left arm to the sky and reverse, find length in the side body. Root down into the outer edge of your back foot. And then come back, straighten the front leg, inhale, prepare. Reach far, far forwards, as far as you can. And then maybe with your right hand, you draw the left ribs through. And join the arm to the sky. And maybe looking up or directly in front of you, long neck, and your tailbone towards your back heel. And then looking down, soften the knee, inhale, rise, coming back. Bend the front knee as you cartwheel the hands to the ground, stepping back to a plank pose. Maybe lower to the knees, or chaturanga. Now this time, if you want, you can go into upward facing dog, okay? Or you can go into your cobra, and then press back downward facing. And then when you're ready, beginning to walk back. Again, we're going to go to the back of the mat this time, holding on to the elbows and sway the torso side to side, back and forth. Inhale, lengthen, bring your hands towards the shin, draw the crown of the head forwards. And then exhale, going a little bit deeper, maybe folding in. Inhale, coming back, send your arms up to the sky. Look to the thumbs, and exhale, coming back to mountain pose. Inhale, reaching back up. Exhale, forward fold as you draw the navel up and back. Release, hands to the ground, and walking back into your downward facing dog. Inhale, coming forward to plank again, and lower all the way down. Inhale, pointing your toes back, begin to lift the shoulders, chest, arms, and legs back into shavasana. You're creating length from your crown, tailbone towards your heels, your toes reaching back, and then exhale, release. Tuck the toes, come onto your knees, pressing back, downward facing dog. Inhale, sending your right leg back and up to the sky. Again, level the pelvis, reaching back through the heel, flex the toes. And exhale, draw the knee in towards your chest and finding your foot to the front of the mat. This time coming straight into a high lunge. Inhale, lift. Back leg is straight. And then open to warrior 2. Inhale, reverse, and this time as you reverse, go a little bit deeper, maybe sending your left fingers to the right hip, and reach back, maybe look back to the toes. And then coming back, warrior 2. Take your forearm to your right thigh, and then inhale, reaching up and over, wrapping the armpit in, again, finding length, draw the navel back and up. Inhale, coming back. Reach out, straighten the front leg, and turning the toes this time towards the left side. Take your hands to the hips, inhale, lift the chest, send the chest up, and then exhale, fold from your hips, so you're hinging, so you may want to micro bend the knees if that's better. And bring your fingertips to the floor, but reach forwards in front of you and find some length in the spine, creating space in your inner thighs. Remember, you don't want to round or slump down. You want to keep your back active. So long ears in line with your arms. And keep reaching through your fingers as you reach back into your heels, into your toes. 2 more breaths. And then walk your hands back. Underneath your chest, bending your right knee, walk your fingers around towards the front and framing your right foot with both fingers. This time, step your left foot to the front of the mat. Feet together. Bend your knees, we'll come into chair pose. And then standing, coming into mountain pose. Bring your left knee up with you and lift the knee high. Use your stomach muscles to lift the knee high, high, high. And then from here, send your left knee out to the side and with your left hand, take the foot or the ankle and place the foot inside your inner right leg and press your right thigh into your left foot and squeezing them against each other so you create that lifting from the pelvis all the way up towards the crown of the head. And your hands can be here as well, coming into tree pose. If your balance is off today, you can place the foot anywhere, maybe even the toes on the ground, but feel tall. Roll the shoulders back and away from your ears and focus somewhere in front of you. Soften your gaze and keep coming back to your breath. Then inhale, draw the left knee back up to the center. Take your arms up and above the head and reach tall again. And then as you soften your right knee, you're going to take your left leg back and find high lunge again. Reaching the arms up to the sky. Exhale, fingertips to the ground and begin to straighten your front leg. Again, not rounding, not scrunching, but create length. So lengthening the spine, reach your fingers forwards, draw the right thigh bone back, navel back and up. Your back heel can be off the ground, or you can bring the foot closer so the foot is flat. And keep drawing the right hip back, sending the crown and the chest forwards. And then rebend the knee. Stepping back with the left foot, then your right foot. Come into a plank, either lower to your knees or chaturanga if it's in your practice. Inhale, up dog or cobra, maybe even looking around, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Left side, inhale, left leg reaches back and up, level the pelvis. Exhale, draw the knee in towards the chest, find space so you can lower the foot down. This time, inhale, coming straight into a high lunge. Open to warrior 2. So shifting so your front heel is in line with the back arch of the foot. Inhale the left arm to the sky. Reverse maybe your right fingers to the left hip. And maybe you look down as you press into the outer edge of your back foot. Find length in the side body, the left side. And then coming back, inhale warrior 2. Exhale your left forearm to your left thigh. And reach up and over as you press into the back foot, reaching through your right finger, spinning the belly button towards the sky. Inhale, come back, warrior 2. And extend the leg. And then drawing the left foot forwards, lifting the chest, and on your exhale, you're going to fold again. Maybe you need to bend the knees, reach your fingers forwards, lengthening the spine. And focusing again on your breath every exhale, drawing the navel up and back. And then take your fingers back to the middle underneath the chest, bending your left knee, crawl around to face the front, framing your foot. And then this time stepping your right foot next to the left foot. Bend the knees, come into chair pose. Sinking the hips back and down, lengthening the spine, long neck. And then standing, coming into mountain pose. This time sending your right knee towards the chest, arms above the head. Flex the foot and use your stomach, your navel pulling up and back to help lift the leg. And then send your right knee to the side with your right hand. You take the foot. Place the foot on the inside of your left leg. Squeezing the foot and thigh towards each other. Hands can be here or to the heart center. But watch your spine, watch your shoulders, make sure they're not slumping forwards and you're not collapsing. Finding length as you root down into the earth with your foot. Inhale, send your right knee forwards. Take the arms up to the sky again, flex. And then as you send your right foot back, soften the left knee and reach your arms back and find high lunge. Inhale. Exhale. Fingertips to the ground. And then from here, begin to send your left hip back as you fold forwards. Again, it doesn't have to be a massive fold. It's about creating length, right? So drawing the navel up and back, send the crown forwards and breathe. No need to drop the head to increase the rounding. Again, broaden, lengthen, reach, and focus on your breath. You can stay here or bring the back foot closer, back foot grounded, and then fold a little bit deeper, sending your fingers forwards. And then coming back. Shift your right foot back, coming into a plank pose. Chest moves forwards, hips in line with the shoulders, navel pulling in. This time lower all the way to the ground. Send the arms back, lift your legs, lift your chest. Maybe this time interlace your fingers and keep rolling the shoulders back, stretching your fists towards your heels. And then exhale, release. Coming back onto your knees, this time find puppy pose. So send your arms forwards. You can either rest your head to the ground or the chest. Just be mindful you don't hurt your neck. And coming forward, sliding on to your belly, coming into a sphinx pose, sending the chest forwards, crown of the head is up, and then release. Just let the arms rest on the ground, the hands above the head. Then coming back, bring your hands underneath the shoulders, maybe a small cobra. Exhale, coming back, downward facing dog. Okay, lower down to your knees. Cross your legs and sit back onto your sit bones. Coming to table, bridge pose. So feet flat on the ground. You can even go back really, really slowly so you're engaging the muscles. You can bring your hands to the back of the legs and then finally find your way onto your back to prepare for bridge. So walk your heels back so they're in line with your hips. Just stay here for a few breaths. When you're ready, take your arms down by your side. Plug in down, root down into the ground with your feet and your shoulders. And bone by bone, beginning to lift your hips, chest to the sky. And again, finding length. So as you press down into the feet, you use your legs to extend the chest back towards your face, but not closing the gap between the chin and chest. So again, the neck is lengthening, maybe wrapping the armpits out so the shoulders are going underneath you to create a little bit more height, strong in the legs. Send your tailbone towards your knees and opening in the space between your shoulder blades. And then exhale, release your hands, lower your back to the ground, float your shins to the sky. If you want to, you could also take that to a wheel pose if you have a wheel practice. Otherwise, when you're done, take your arms down by your side and lower your knees, so knees together, all the way to your left. And looking out to your right. Coming into a twist. You can use your left hand to gently press down onto your right knee, keeping the knees in line with the navel. And just relax into the twist. Then come back to the center. Lower your knees all the way to your right, looking out to the left, and maybe with your right hand, you gently press down onto your left thigh. Keeping the shoulder down and the shoulder rotating out. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, release. Lying down, take a few moments here now to finish off your practice, just for a few moments in shavasana. And allow your body to completely relax, doing absolutely nothing. Allow yourself to be absorbed. Soften your face, closing your eyes. And after your relaxation, beginning to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, bend your knees. Rolling over to your favorite side to find your way back into a comfortable seated position. Sitting cross-legged, any way you wish. Feeling tall in your spine. Expressing gratitude. Namaste.